Again. Well, we've got Jeanette in the house this evening, and we have been asking you for some questions.
Yes.
So the viewers have sent in the questions. They're in this lovely little love heart tin. So we're going to be pulling out some of those questions a little bit later and answering them for you. If you do have any questions as well while Jeanette is on, then please put them in the comments box and we'll try and get through those as well. Jeanette,
yes,
it's great to have you in here because, as I said, you're a celebrity nutritionist. You have worked with some brilliant names that I'm going to love dropping, actually.
do.
All right. Okay, so first and foremost, I've got to mention Claire from Steps.
Yes. She was amazing, actually. And we did a series called Bigger Than, which Claire was kind of in as well, and also another series with Claire. And she was just absolutely lovely. She's such a effervescent, bright, bubbly lady, of course. And I've never been a big Steps fan. So when I like the songs, but I wouldn't be able to name any other member of the band.
That's a tragedy.
And so when the producer said to me, right, you're going to go to Claire's house and she's going to cook you some lunch, right? But don't eat it because I want you to kind of pick it apart as to what she's made spaghetti bolognese. And I was gutted because it was really nice. I was really hungry. So I had to leave a lot of this spaghetti bolognese, but it was lovely. And I met a husband and the children and the dog, and we did a whole series, and she was just absolutely lovely. And it was very much about how to be healthy and well. That's, as a biochemist, that's my remit. How can we change your biochemistry so that you crave less? I think that's the thing. Do you know what I mean?
And when those cravings come, it's really hard to stop that temptation from going.
Is. And, I've been a nutritionist now for over a long time and a sports scientist. And the one thing that I always talk about when I go into corporate companies, and that's my primary role now really, is when I first started doing nutrition, decades ago, very few people had a great clue really as to what quality nutrition was. Now we know, you can't open a book or turn on the TV, turn on the radio, open a magazine without being told what to eat. So there's two things from that. One is, I think some people are confused.
Yeah.
What do we eat when? There's so much contradictory advice out there. But also, I genuinely do think that if I walked in here with a platter of, meat pie, chips and gravy.
Oh, I wish you had.
And then a platter of fresh fruit and vegetables. Which one am I going to ask you to eat as a nutritionist?
The fish and the vegetables.
Yeah. The challenge is when we have a tough day, a really stressful day, a difficult day, then we have this kind of schizophrenic dialogue in our head that says, just for tonight, I'll have the bottle of wine and the takeaway, and then tomorrow I'll have the fish.
I'm not saying nothing.
So a big part of what I do and my team, because I'm the director of the Manchester Stress Institute, we're all scientists and we're all experts in how to develop a resilience so that we're not succumbing to stress and we're not having large amounts of stress chemicals, kind of circulating in our body that do make us feel tired, that do make us feel weary, and that do change our biochemistry to the point where we go, right, I am going to actually set my goals aside because I really want to be fit, healthy, energized and well. And then I'm going to go for this because I need that right now.
That sounds like the perfect solution. I never knew anywhere like that existed where you were doing, so many kind of like tests and things like that. So really, it is very true, to coin a TV program, you are what you eat, and it does make a difference.
Well, do you know what I'm going to say? Actually, what you are is you are what you can absorb. I mean, because a lot of it is about gut health. So again, there's it depends how much you want to talk about this, but there's a huge movement now that's talking about the gut being the first or the second brain. And in the gut, we manufacture neurotransmitters, and one in particular is tryptophan. And tryptophan is manufactured in there to 75%. And that is a neurotransmitter that helps us to feel very calm and peaceful. And so it helps to regulate our mood. And we know that that stress can affect our mood. So stress can make us feel low in mood. It can precipitate anxiety. And again, these are drivers that will for some people at some times, not always, but at times, direct us off our goals to go and have things and do things, whether that's alcohol or cigarettes or, you know, really poor quality diet that's skewed from the kind of lifestyle that we want. And, you know, a big part for me as well, particularly with the corporate work that we do, this is about helping people to live a happy, healthy, you know, vibrant life. And that includes wine, yay, and it includes, you know, takeaways and going out for dinner. And I'm a great believer that laughter is the best medicine.
Oh, I do think so.
I'm telling you, the shift in the biochemistry when we go out and have a great night with our girlfriends and our partner and our family, it's true that it affects our biochemistry. So what we want is to have this ideal 80-20 lifestyle where we're eating foods that are really healthy and well. And then at 20% of that time, we're eating foods that we just really enjoy because it's part of our healthy lifestyle.
Exactly. It's kind of like it's not giving yourself that headache of, oh, I can't eat that, because that makes you want it more. You're just kind of eating a little bit of it less. You talked about laughter there, and that is a really good segue into who else you worked with. You've worked with a fantastic Peter Kay.
Peter Kay.
What did you do for him? Because if he's laughing a lot, I'm thinking, you know, he must be all right.
Oh, well, he was. I mean, I remember saying to him at one point, right, so I want you to start eating some tuna. And you know, you can eat the tuna if you want with some sweet corn for fibre. And he said to me, tuna and sweet corn. And it was just like, you know, garlic and bread. And obviously, you know, when I'm doing a private consultation for people, I have to keep very serious. But he was absolutely amazing, this Peter Kay. And the funny thing is, and I'm sure you won't mind me talking about it, was he didn't want to lose weight. And a lot of people would think maybe he came along to see me for weight loss, but he didn't. He came for just a general MOT and to, you know, keep his health and well-being on track, really.
Well, as a performer, it's really important because especially if he's doing kind of gig after gig after gig, you've got to be. I mean, you hear about people who are pop stars that have like vitamin B injections just to kind of make them get through, you know, a concert and stuff like that. So,
but also I think as well, it's important to say that you know, doing the celebrities is great and I love it, and you know I'm from Oldham, me, so when I'm sat in front of a really important celebrity, I'm going, oh, you know, and I keep very, very calm and professional. But a big massive part of my job is working with the corporate organizations and staff, and I get such a buzz out of that because, you know, all of us experience stress. We've all been through, you know, a really tumultuous time. The people working from home and isolating and being very, very isolated within the role as well. And that's one of the biggest, greatest achievements of my life is being the director of the Manchester Stress Institute and taking my team in virtually now. And I'm not kidding when I say doing life-changing work for people that really lifts the mood and reduces anxiety and reduces stress.
And it is so important because that can make you feel very ill, can't it?
I mean, honestly, yeah. And it can make people, you know, leave the jobs. And, you know, particularly now, one of our most popular workshops and webinars and all sorts of things we do is around menopause at work.
Absolutely, because I just don't think enough people and businesses know how to deal with people who may be going through the menopause, but in a sensitive way as well, and how, you know, to help if they are having difficulties at work.
Absolutely. And one of the things, what a real kind of passion for me is oftentimes the women that are going through the menopause, and I said going through the menopause, transitioning through this phase, is they are often at the pinnacle of their career. You know, the average age for the menopause is 51.2. And these people are often really, they've achieved, they've worked hard, they're at the position they want to be. And at times, some of these people will leave because of the pressures of being on the menopause and going through the menopause whilst holding down a very, very important job and being affected by some of the incredibly varied and wide signs and symptoms of the menopause. So now the CIPD states that every single manager, regardless of gender and age, needs to have an understanding of what the menopause is, what the symptoms are, and how it can potentially affect the mental and physical well-being of staff.
And I think it's brilliant. I think it's brilliant that we're having these conversations now, because in the past, gosh, back in my mum's era, it was just kind of like, you know, unspoken words and quite a stigma around it. But now we're talking about that. Also, you have done work on things like diets yourself, with being the Drop Zone author.
Yes.
What's it like creating a book?
Well, that came about because obviously I've worked with a lot of celebrities and a lot of you know, kind of people that are very senior in business, and so what happened was I noticed, particularly with the celebrities, that if they had a gig coming up, they would in the run up to that starve themselves, you know, survive on coffee and cigarettes, really. And so I said to them, look, I can help you to feel amazing, lose the weight that you want to lose, but eat minimum calories with maximum benefit. That's what I can do. So I'm going to write a nutrition plan. So I wrote the nutrition plan, and I actually called it at the time the Rinky Dink Diet. Don't ask me why.
That goes off your tongue really well.
The Rinky Dink Diet. And I set it up, and I'm going back a long time. And I wrote it, and I put it in a PDF, and I started to sell it. Unbeknownst to me, that was one of the first ebooks, really. And then, out of the blue, I got an email from Penguin Books, and I thought it was a wind up, so I didn't tell anybody. And I got an email saying, we've seen your book, we love it, we'd like to commission you to write a book for us.
Wow.
Yeah, out of the blue. So on an email, so I didn't tell
but
anybody.
We don't want it called the Rinky Dink
We want to change it. So I went to London and met a representative from Penguin Books, had lunch, again told nobody.
Wow.
And then they offered me a really brilliant book deal, and then I told everybody. And then I wrote it, most of it actually, in Waterstones in Manchester. And it's all really well. But what I would say actually is this, and I'll be honest on your live from the Hive. When it was first published, I didn't shout about it at all, because I felt, as a scientist and a sports scientist, I felt a little bit uncomfortable that I'd written this weight loss diet. Yeah. I wanted to write, and there's a lot of science in the book, but I wanted to write something really scientific. And the book was published about 10 years ago now. But now, over the past 5 years or so, the science around weight loss and doing a restricted diet for a certain period of time is huge. And it just underpins everything I say in the book. So now I'm shouting about the book off the rooftops, because the science is backing that up now.
We saw it on screen, so if you are fancy and taking a look at it, it's the Drop Zone Diet. I know it's on Amazon at the moment.
Yeah, you can get it on Amazon.
There you go. See, and I'm going to put your Instagram up, if that's all right, because
please do.
You do have some great things on Instagram and some great advice, and we're going to go to some of your advice now.
Let's go to the tin. Yes,
okay,
excited to
the heart tin, because we're looking after ourselves.
We are, yes.
Loving ourselves. Okay, so in the tin, we have got some questions that have come in from social media. So, would you like to take a little rummage in the tin?
Oh, well, I'll win. I actually did win something a while back. You know, I won a holiday.
Did you?
Yeah, I went to a Forever Manchester ball, and I won £1,000 holiday, and then lockdown happened, so I've not had it yet.
Oh, bless you.
Right.
Right, so what have we got here?
I think it says probiotics.
Yeah.
There's a bit missed, but probiotics are all in the range at the moment. But what do they do, and what do I get?
Probiotics.
So probiotics are all the rave. Yes, and it links in nicely to what I was talking about gut health, actually. So probiotics are very, very useful. I take one every day, every single morning, to help to generate good bacteria in the gut. We call it gut flora or microflora. And essentially what I say to people is this, is that from your mouth to your anus is essentially a tube. So when we put something in our mouth, we have certain sphincters that are located throughout the body. And we're all aware that we have a sphincter on our bottom that we've learned to control. But a dog doesn't necessarily do that, or a horse or a goat or a sheep, they just allow that sphincter to happen naturally. But we've controlled ours. And through our digestive tract, we have different sphincters there. And so because this is just an empty tube until we eat, then in terms of our large intestine, that is a vacuum, if you like, that we need to fill with healthy bacteria. If we don't fill that with healthy bacteria, then bad bacteria will proliferate. And that then can really affect the manufacture of this tryptophan that we talked about before, and also affect the manufacture of certain vitamins that we make in the large intestine as well. So it's really important to make sure you've got this healthy gut flora. So a probiotic I would absolutely recommend. And you can buy them in Holland & Barrett. You can buy them in any health food shop. You can get them, of course, in the little drinks. I wouldn't necessarily recommend the little drinks because...
Why do they do them in little drinks?
Yeah.
Why do they feel the need to do that? Does it add anything?
Well, you see, it's interesting that you should ask that, Michelle, because I think as a consumer, what we actually want foods that taste nice. And what they do, the manufacturers, put this probiotic in a little bit of yogurt and add some sugar or some flavouring. So it smells or tastes of strawberries or blueberries or something. And that satisfies us because it appeals to our palate. What I would do if I was you is I would go to a health food shop and buy some probiotics as a tablet, and then you can get the tablets that you separate and you can pop the probiotic powder into your smoothie.
That's so much easier. Absolutely.
That's what they pay me for. And you can put it in your yogurt and you can put it in your overnight oats or whatever you want to do. So you're getting the benefit of that without the added sugars and the added kind of supplies that some people put in there. What I would say, and it's a little bit maybe too much for this particular chat, but what I do every single day is I soak flax seeds. So you know the flax seeds that you can get, and I soak flax seeds. So pretend this is the flaxseed glass. So I put about 2 or 3 tablespoons in a glass, and then you cover them with water to about there, because the flax seeds are going to swell, and then the husk separates and the natural oils come out of there. And we know that they're fantastic for the menopause, if anybody's interested in the menopause itself, and they are amazing for gut health. And because they've swelled, the husk has softened, and because we don't absorb the actual seed itself, because we replant the seeds, as it were, because they come out a bit like sweet corn, not attractive but true. And so what happens is when you take them, and I take a big tablespoon, 2 tablespoons in the morning, once you swallow them, what they do, which is just genius, is they exfoliate the inside of your gut. And they take away putrefactive material that will then affect absorption. So, I said to you before, you're not really what you eat, you are what you can absorb. Well, when we've got inflammation, a low-grade inflammatory response in the gut due to poor diet and stress and all that kind of stuff, that inhibits the absorption of our vitamins and minerals. So when you do this, it can, like I said, just very gently exfoliate and create a really nice environment in the gut.
Do you know, I didn't know what flax seeds do. And I've been putting flax seeds, like a mix of flax seeds that I got from a supermarket, on kind of my breakfast, on porridge and stuff like that. I didn't know why I was doing it. I just thought, flax seeds, it's kind of like, it's a thing to do.
Yeah, definitely.
Now I know what they do. And actually, maybe not having it with the serum, maybe having it a bit like what you said is better. But mine's in with lots of different things. Am I better just getting flaxseed on its own?
Yeah, I would go to a Holland & Barrett, not that I'm sponsored by them, I wish I was, but I'd go to a health food shop, buy a bag of flax seeds or linseeds, it's the same thing, whether the brown or the golden, same thing, and set yourself up this system, and so that you have 2 tablespoons a day. It's the first thing in my mouth every morning, because then it acts as almost like, it exfoliates an empty-ish gut. And another thing is, because they're a seed, when you put them in your body and you put them in dry, which is fine on your cereal and things, they want fluid, so they'll take fluid from you. So what you want to do is put them in so they're fully hydrated, so that you're hydrating your body at the same time. And also, finally, on the gut, is the large intestine is the last port of call, really, for us to stay hydrated. So when we are really well hydrated, then our stools will pass through and we'll have normal stools. Normal stools classified that. But if we have, if we're constipated or we're dehydrated, then the bowels can become constipated. So what the seeds do, because they retain their water content and the oil content through the full digestive tract, they give the large intestine a message of hydration. So the body feels much more relaxed and much more healthy. So it's just a wonderful thing.
It's so clever. This is such an eye-opener.
Oh.
Really, it's because look, you read things, but you don't fully kind of understand things. And I'm sure a lot of people that are out there, I've got a comment here, so let me just check the comments and see if we've got, yeah, we've got one actually about flaxseed. Maria says, I take ground flax seeds every day. It's great for keeping you regular. And hot flushes.
For the hot flushes. Great, yeah. And again, that's because it's a side to estrogen. So they're brilliant for hot flushes. And in fact, one of the ladies that I was working with, because I do see clients one-to-one on a Monday, and she ran out and then forgot to get them. And then she said, I couldn't believe it because my hot flushes started to come back. Wow. So they can be amazing for that as well. But I think what you're saying, Michelle, is I think what we do is we join the dots. So what often happens, and I'm sure that your next guest will kind of add to this as well, is we read something in a magazine because we don't feel very well and we're tired and we're exhausted and we've not slept and we're a bit stressed. We read something or see something and it says, this is brilliant, I'm buying it.
Yeah.
And we buy it, but we put that into a body that is tired and stressed, which is why in my business, we try our very best with any company we work with to say, we'll come in and we'll work with you and we'll do all the nutrition you want, we'll do all the mindfulness you want, but please let us start with stress and resilience, because when we know how to switch off the stress response and calm them stress chemicals, we've got more energy then. And that's a really lovely starting point for then to put more energized nutrition in there and then to be mindful. And one of the things that I often say is, it's true, isn't it, that when we are stressed, we're much more inclined to go for coffee and cigarettes and alcohol and cakes and biscuits and whatever. And what I always say is it's really hard to be mindful and meditate on a body that's fizzing. Isn't it? I'm not kidding. I've been doing Buddhist monastery meditation stuff for 20 years. I've been involved in the NKT Buddhist tradition for over 20 years now. And the first time I went off on a retreat, right, I mean, it was a fasting retreat, this, right, with water and stuff. But then when it came to one of the breaks, it said, right, go in the room over there and there's coffee and biscuits. Coffee and biscuits.
It doesn't really align with what you've been doing and your chakras. Is it chakras?
And your chakras. So what you'll often hear is people will say, yeah, try that meditation. Couldn't do it, not for me. And that's because they're trying to sit and calm this mind on top of a body that's fizzing with caffeine and nicotine and maybe alcohol from the night before and cakes and biscuits and crisps. It's not going to happen. But when you start with stress and you really learn how to work with the three brains and the triune brain, and you learn how to switch off that stress message, and then you then on top of that start putting foods in there that help to generate, when you need them, stimulatory neurotransmitters and inhibitory neurotransmitters when we need them. So that helps us to stay mentally alert and focused during the day and helps us to sleep at night. And then you put mindfulness on top of that. It's beautiful.
Oh God, you know what? I need you on every week. I really, really do. Look, right, I think we've only got chance now for maybe 2 more questions, because time is fast running out. So
I'm having a rummage.
Okay.
What have we got? It says, I am struggling to sleep. Right. Oh no, what is it? I'm struggling.
I'm struggling. It's because I was ripping it. I've ripped them. I'm struggling. It's actually this ties in. I'm struggling with the menopause right now and don't want to take HRT. Are there any alternatives I can take to help me? That does actually follow on. That's my writing. I've got writing like a doctor. Sorry.
It's better than mine, I have to say. So, first of all, I don't want to resort to HRT. First of all, I will say we don't resort to HRT. HRT for many, 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 many women can be an absolute blessing. So I'm always about trying to change this language around HRT. When we come into organisations and we do menopause workshops, the number of women that say, I'm now on HRT, it's given me back my life, but I waited until I couldn't live another day with the anxiety and the sleeplessness and the hot flushes, until I couldn't stand it one more day, and then I went to my GP. There are many, many benefits from HRT, so please don't wait to resort to that. Go and have a chat with your GP and see if you would be one of the millions of women that can benefit from HRT. That would be the first thing that I would say. And then in terms of alternatives, there are many different alternatives, but again, you know, things like black cohosh can be really great for hot flushes. So it depends.
What's that?
So it's a natural herb. It's just a natural plant herb, and it's really great for some women, not all women, on the menopause, and it will help with flushes. But again, what I would say is this is what I get. So breakfast, coffee, 2 toasts, jam. Lunch, sandwich, a couple of fags, coffee, a couple of red wines, black clover. Yeah, it didn't work for me. It's not going to work on top of that. So we need to look at the nutrition. We need to look at your nutrition and take away any what I call antagonists. So if you put in things in there that are going to precipitate them hot flushes, that have got vasodilatory properties, then you're going to have hot flushes whether you take black cohosh or not. So there are some alternatives in there. Do some research. There's some brilliant people now, especially on Instagram. Follow me and you can see who I follow around the hormones for HRT. There's some brilliant people.
Is it in tablet form, what you just said, or is it something like flaxseed that you kind of like take or put?
A bit of both, really. So flaxseeds you can put into your nutrition. I'm just writing actually a 14-day menopause nutrition plan that I've been writing for the past 12 months, if I'm honest. I just need to finish it off. But you know, like I said, you know, I'm happy to, you know, I'll share that with you, you know, and the details when that's ready. But what I would say as a starting point, take away the antagonists like the caffeine and, you know, real kind of high octane foods like high salt foods. We know there's a lot of research coming out now that says that people that have a high salt diet have something called fractated sleep. And what that is, that's about falling asleep and then waking up throughout the night without actually fully waking up. So you've been asleep all night and you think, I slept all night, but I'm shattered. But you're not staying in the sleep stages, most certainly stages 3 and 4, which are the deep sleep stages, for long enough. So make sure that you're not eating foods that are very high in salt and sugar as well. That'll all help.
I love that. I know somebody who's like that. Could be my husband. Stop eating salt. He's heard it now off you. I'll take it off you. Last question. And we'll keep them for. We're going to have it back again, aren't we?
Right. So I've been taking a multivitamin for years, but now I'm not sure why I'm taking it or what the benefits of it are. Is it a habit? But really, should I be focusing on singular supplements? So again, multivitamins and vitamins and minerals. So it's a huge multi-million pound industry. My ethos is always food first, to the best of our capability. You know, where are you going to find the natural nutrients in foods? That's my first thing. However, you know, there are times when nutritional supplements can be of great benefit. We do a 4-week program, a resilience program, and we provide supplements to staff on that as a catalyst. I think sometimes we just need that catalyst. I see it a bit like blowing up an airbed. You know, we just lose our mojo at times, don't we? And once you get that blown up and you feel yourself again, you don't need the supplements. So supplements, I would say, never forever. But they can be really good as a catalyst for people. One thing I would say, you're taking a multivitamin. Multivitamin really is better than, I would say, individual, unless you're going to take a blood test and find out what specific vitamins you are deficient in. A multivitamin kind of covers all things. What I would say is that we have a split between 2 different vitamin groups. So we have fat-soluble vitamins and water-soluble vitamins, and our body doesn't store water-soluble vitamins, which are vitamins B and vitamin C. So once you take some B vitamins in, then your body will take what it needs then, and maybe a few hours along the line, and then it will excrete any excess. So if, for example, somebody watching this has ever taken any B vitamins, then you'll know that when you take B vitamins, your urine goes bright yellow, and that's the excess coming out.
It was very odd when that happened, I've got to say.
It can be a bit worrying, actually.
Yeah, and also I found that when I've had dissolvable orange tablets.
That's vitamin C, because that is, again, it's a water-soluble vitamin.
Yeah, so but it's normal.
So it's normal, yeah, but it doesn't say it. So people think, oh my goodness, suddenly, I mean, it can be bright, almost orange yellow, can't it? Yeah. So, there's a very clear delineation between that. And one of the things with B vitamins in particular is a primary role for them is to activate the energy in protein foods. So, what I encourage people to do, particularly at work when we're working with corporate companies, is to make sure that they're getting B vitamins consistently throughout the day, because we don't store them. And oftentimes when I used to work at the BBC many moons ago, we did a survey for the whole company as to how many people have a mid-afternoon energy slump. Right? And I think from memory, it was something like about 64% of staff say that their energy can drop mid-afternoon.
Can I just say, I had a nana nap this afternoon.
Well, I'm all for. I call them power naps, to be honest, but I'm all for a good nap. Yeah, all for a good nap. The research around naps is right there.
But is that because then I'm not getting enough vitamin B, do you think?
No, I think it can be a multitude of different things. When you put the B vitamins in, you might find that you don't actually need that nap. But I actually think there's real benefit from having a nap. In my office, I have a sofa bed, and it's used regularly for. You pull it forward and it drops down, and I have earplugs, eye mask, a little sleeping bag, and I'm gone.
So we're all going to come to Jeanette's office, and that's it. You're going to have loads of people clamouring to work with you now, Jeanette. Not only that, they'll be getting onto your Instagram.
If you want to get in contact, and certainly for corporate, then you can follow this little link that this lady's going to put on afterwards. And it's info. Contact me on Instagram, but it's info@manchesterstress.com.
I shall pop that on my social channels later on. So if you are interested, please give her a shout. Jeanette, you have been absolutely wonderful. We've still got questions, so I might save those and try and bribe you to come back.
Well, it's been a pleasure, actually. Great to see you again after all these years.
So many years. Don't mention how many years. No. But no, it's great to have you in the Hive. Thank you so much.